So I started this video 2 weeks ago. It's been a couple of cheesecakes because they keep getting eaten before I get them done. I'm back in Edinburgh, Scotland for work here for a day or two underneath the Edinburgh Castle, and I'm trying to get this thing edited tonight and get it out. Beautiful place, 66 degrees, quite comfortable. Unlike at home where it's currently about 120-degree heat index. It's beautiful, it's quiet, I love it there, but it's hotter than heck right now. It's hotter than a fat guy's sweat socks at the gym in a sauna. But anyway, we'll get on with the video. Thanks for joining us.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Cooter Pickleberry. This is FloridaMan Cooking, and today we're going to make a key lime cheesecake. So, if you don't know what that is, it's key lime pie tasting, but it's actually a cheesecake, which is kind of a win-win. So, if you're looking to fatten up for winter, have the cheesecake. If you're looking to stay a little bit slimmer, a few less calories, stick with a pie. I like them both. It's a pretty easy thing to make if you know how to make a cheesecake. And I know a lot of times cheesecakes are intimidating because of the water bath I'm going to show you and all that stuff. It's no big deal. I'm not very smart. I do it. So a key lime looks like this. Actually, they're normally a little bit greener. This one has been sitting on the counter for probably a little bit too long, but they're tiny. So we need about a half cup of key lime juice. So you go through a couple pounds of these to make that happen. Or you just buy a bottle. The bottles are available, I think, at most grocery stores around the country. If they're not, if you can't get it, I know you can get it mail order via Amazon. But use key lime juice. Don't use regular lime juice or you have an entirely different kind of cheesecake. And I've never done that, but key lime's a kind of a specific flavor. It's good. It's very Florida. You know, people just like key limes down here. So, and I think tourists like them more than those of us who live here. But anyway, the one good thing about these versus the juice is you can't juggle juice, but you can juggle key limes. There you go. Let's get to it.
So the equipment you need to make a cheesecake is a springform pan. This thing is great. It's got a big spring thing on it. You pop it out, the bottom comes off, and you can cut the cheesecake without having to worry about it. And that pink thing next to it is a silicone wrap you use. This is going to go in a water bath. You can either wrap tinfoil 2 or 3 times around the springform pan, or you can buy one of these cheap silicone things, set it in there, and it won't leak. You won't get water and destroy the graham cracker crust, which is what we're going to make next. So for the graham cracker crust, you get 2 sleeves of graham crackers. Take 1 cracker or 2 out, and then stick them in a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can put them in a Ziploc bag and beat the crap out of them, and then hit it with a rolling pin to just try to get them small. Add a little bit of sugar, add a little bit of salt. This will all be in the description below if you're looking for a recipe, but this is a really easy crust to make. We're going to stick, initially I used about 4 tablespoons of melted butter. What you're looking for is a consistency of wet sand. I ended up adding a couple more tablespoons a little bit later, just because it wasn't quite as wet as I wanted it. So you just mix that up. You're looking for like the stuff you make a sandcastle out of on the beach. And here's just a little bit more. And that'll about do it. And then what we do when we're done with that is we just shove it right into that springform pan. And then we flatten it out with a measuring cup or whatever you got that's small and round. Not much to make in a graham cracker crust. They're tasty, way better than anything you're going to buy. And pretty easy. So you just stick it in there. And then you'll see that little measuring cup. I'm going to use that just to flatten it out. You want to leave a little bit on the edge because it's a cheesecake and you want it to have a little taste up the edge. But the graham cracker really makes it taste like a key lime pie if you do it this way. So just kind of spread that around, smash it down. No big deal. And again, this is all going to be underneath the cheesecake, so you really don't see it. You'll just taste it a little bit. And that's all there is to that. So that whole thing is going to go inside a big roasting pan. And we're going to fill that roasting pan up with water about halfway up that pink silicone ring. And what that does is keeps the cheesecake from cracking.
So we have 4 room temperature packets of cream cheese. So we'll put these in here. on low for a couple minutes to soften them up. Here, 2 minutes is up. We'll turn this off. Just kind of scrape down the bottom and the sides a little bit. Then we're going to add the sugar. Salt. A bit of flour. About a half cup of sour cream. Let that go for about a minute. We'll come back again. Okay, so the minute's up. We're just going to drop in 1 egg at a time or so, best we can. As that gets incorporated, we'll add the next egg. We've got 4 eggs total. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can do this whole thing with a hand mixer as well. I just like the stand mixer because it's one less thing to hold. The last egg, we'll just let that incorporate. And once that's done, got a couple more things to add. Looks like it's in there. So now we're going to stick in the key lime juice. We used just shy of a half a cup because I got tired of squeezing limes. And then this is just the zest from a couple of key limes. It's about probably a tablespoon or two. All right, it's time to put the filling inside the crust and put the whole thing in the oven. So the hard part's over. Just gonna try to get all this goodness out of this. And this whole thing goes inside of this whole thing, which goes in the oven. Once we get it in the oven, I've got a pot of water boiling, and we're gonna stick water in there somewhere around halfway up the side of this, whatever you call it, the spring form cover, this piece of silicone. And once that's done, it sits in the oven for about an hour or so. We'll check on it, an hour to an hour and 10 to cook. We'll pull it out. We're just looking to see it's got a little bit of jiggle, but it's not liquid. So we'll be back in about an hour and 10 minutes.
So we let it cool for a little bit on the stovetop and then put it in the fridge for about 6 to 8 hours. And once that's up, we'll go ahead and start mixing up the whipped cream, which is pretty easy. Use about 3/4 of a cup of whipped cream, some sugar, and we just mix that up in the stand mixer. And it doesn't take very long. It's just a couple minutes on a medium to a medium high setting. And what you're looking for is just to see it start to stiffen up a little bit. And we'll add some sugar, a little bit of vanilla extract. Again, that's all in the description. And we're looking for some kind of firm peaks to start popping out, which literally a minute or two with a stand mixer. And again, you can use it. You can do this by hand if you want. It's a lot of forearm work, or you could use a hand mixer if you got one. But stand mixer works best, I think. Almost done. You can already see it firming up a little bit, and that's about done right there. You go too much farther, you end up with butter. And as much as I like butter, I don't think I really want it on a cheesecake. So there it is. We'll pop that springform pan open. And now I can cut it without having to dig things out, which is really a nice thing with that. You can, of course, make one of these without it, just easier with one. They're cheap. And we'll stick a little, you can do this any way you want. You can put dollops on it. You put it through a bag and try to make a nice design or whatever. I just kind of mash it on top. You're just really looking for the flavor. So we just kind of stick some on top, flatten it out a little bit. And we'll stick some zest of key lime. I think I overdid the key lime zest on this. It just got a little bit bitter. I think I just put a little bit too much on. So I'd probably go with a little bit less, maybe 1 or 2 key limes zested. I think I did 4. Just kind of flatten that out. Doesn't have to look perfect because no one cares. They're just going to eat it. It's absolutely delicious. And then because I had a couple of spare key limes, I chopped those up too and just stuck some slices on. You really wouldn't want to probably eat the key limes. They're a little bit bitter. And like I said, I think that's just maybe a hair too much zest. So it was pretty though. And I got it all over the counter, which is nice. So that's really just decoration, not for flavor. You could probably put some lime candy or something on there if you wanted. You don't really need it though. It's plenty sweet. Tastes like cheesecake and key lime pie all wrapped up into one beautiful little tasty bite.
Oh my God. That's good.
Is that a good cheesecake, Cooter?
That's the best.
So there's a picture of the final product. Turned out pretty good. I made these a few times and I really enjoy them. So does the rest of the family. And here's a picture of a hog in the window watching the sunset because the sunsets this time of year are just beautiful around us. God bless. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching.